The Mitsubishi Outlander is a big, luxurious 5-seater family SUV that comes with permanent 4-wheel drive and go-anywhere ability. This is the latest version, and it's a plug-in hybrid, which means it combines a 2-litre petrol engine with 2 electric motors that can run off a battery that you can plug in and recharge. It promises incredible fuel efficiency and ultra-low CO2 figures, and remarkably sells for the same price as the standard diesel. I want to find out what drivers will make of this amazing vehicle, so I found 3 people whose typical journeys could really benefit from the Outlander PHEV. First up is Daniel Gore. He's an architect who's just about to choose his first company car. He'd hugely benefit from the favourable benefit in kind figures on the Outlander, but I want to know if this car could find a place on his shopping list.
This vehicle, for your commute, other than the cost of just charging up overnight, which would be roughly £1, you've got infinite fuel economy all the time it's in electric mode. Does that sound good?
That sounds great, yeah.
It does. Do you want to drive it?
I'd love to.
Alison Maxwell owns her own business and runs 2 vehicles. She also regularly visits family and business contacts in London and would benefit both from the 100% capital allowance and the free congestion charging.
So what vehicles do you use?
I have a van for my business and a BMW for my personal use.
So having a good, comfortable and solid, reliable car for you is really important, especially if you're going out to meet clients and do consultations.
Something reliable, economical and also green.
Yeah, green business, you need a green car, don't you, to go along with it. So if I was to say to you that you could drive something like this with infinite miles per gallon.
I'd be really impressed, yes.
You would?
Yes, I certainly would.
Do you want to see what it drives?
I'd love to.
Finally, there's Tom Heyman-Joyce, a self-confessed petrol head. He's fascinated by the new technology and wants to find out whether a hybrid vehicle could fit his daily journeys working as an estate agent.
What do you think of this?
Well, it's impressive. I mean, if I'm coming to see a house like this, and the client's obviously got environment at the top of their hit list, and be able to turn up in a vehicle like this, it really give me a foot in the door and give me a good edge over my competition.
Okay, well, this vehicle has been on charge, so I can just disconnect this lead.
Great.
So do you fancy taking it for a drive?
Yeah, we can take it for a drive. It's not my normal type of car. I'm a bit of a petrol head. I like the performance, so it'll be interesting to see whether it can perform.
I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. Okay. Jump in. The way to start this car is very simple. It's a keyless operation. You put your foot on the brake, press that button that says power, and you'd expect that you're going to get all the familiar sounds of an engine firing up, but it's an electric car. Now, believe it or not, the car's running.
Is it really?
Yeah,
It's so quiet.
Doesn't feel real, does it?
No, it really doesn't. This is quite surreal.
Yeah, that lack of noise, it's a big difference.
It's extremely quiet and smooth.
It is, isn't it?
It feels like you're not driving, it's so easy.
Well, at the moment, we're driving in pure electric mode, so the car is just running as an electric car. And do you know what's coming out the exhaust pipe at the moment?
Probably nothing.
Nothing, yeah. Absolutely zippo.
It's very responsive. It does actually pick up and pull and go. That's quite surprising, actually. I was slightly concerned that it was going to be a bit of a slouch, but first impressions are not that.
The other thing about this car, it's got an electric motor at the rear, one at the front, it's got this 2-litre engine as well.
Yeah.
Coupled together, it's 200 brake horsepower. And when you put your foot down just then,
Yeah.
dropped into using the 2-litre petrol engine,
Yeah.
very frugal engine.
Yeah. Wow, that's impressive.
You can't help but notice when it flicks between the two.
But it's seamless, isn't it? That
It's seamless, oh
transition.
yeah, it's the little icons on the screen. It's quite enjoyable to drive watching all this going on.
On that screen in front
Yeah.
of you, you see you've got battery going to the wheel and engine going to the wheel.
I'm with you.
At the moment, you'll see it's just a battery. You can drive this car for 32 miles, just like this, if you was to plug it in overnight.
That's fantastic.
If I was looking to swap to this kind of vehicle, what financial benefits would I get? Would the business get?
Okay, well, the first financial benefit you get is obviously you'd have more money in your pocket because you're going to get a lot more fuel economy out of a car like this. I don't know what you're spending a week on fuel.
It's about £80 a week.
I predict that with your journey and the way
Yeah.
you drive, you'll probably be spending about £80 a month.
That's quite difficult to understand, actually. Those savings are huge.
Every year we have vehicle excise duty to pay on the car. For this vehicle, it's absolutely free. It's zero. because the emissions are so low that you don't have to pay road tax.
Oh, that's always a plus.
Company car tax,
Yeah,
big thing.
yes.
The benefit in kind for this car is only 5% of the retail price. Where an equivalent SUV size vehicle from another manufacturer, you'd have to pay up to 25%.
Really? Gosh, that does make a difference.
It does make a difference. You've got to think of those savings. You know, they're huge, aren't they? The
Over the
potential-
year, that will stack up considerably.
Because it's a car that falls under the 95 grams of CO2 per annum, that means you can get your whole tax allowance on this car written off.
Oh,
So you can get
right.
20% of it back. Do you ever go into London?
I do. I go with my work, my shop. I go up to Covent Garden.
Well, the good news about this car is as well, you don't have to pay any congestion charge.
Really?
And if you are in London, there are certain car parking spaces that are free for electric vehicles.
Fantastic.
And there's lots of charging points, obviously,
Yeah.
the car parks now for
Yeah.
electric vehicles.
Yeah.
And if you were to park it in London and go to
Yeah.
one of those charging points, just 30 minutes of charge will give you 80% battery back.
Wow, well, that's really useful. I mean, just in the course of a meeting, I could be back up and running on battery power.
Exactly.
I do site visits, often up country tracks, remote sites. I'm also driving this 25-mile commute along country lanes throughout January, February, March, when there's often frost and ice, snow.
So four-wheel drive really would be a real benefit to you, wouldn't it?
Definitely, yeah. I'm definitely looking at a four-wheel drive, yeah.
Well, because this is powered by electric motors, both front and rear, we're in permanent four-wheel drive all the time, but you can actually lock them off. It's got twin motor four-wheel drive lock, which will just lock the two motors to be the same power. So you get full four-wheel drive capability. You can really go off-road.
Fantastic, so perfect for the point-to-points and things like that.
I have my van, but I do deliveries, and some finds the terrain's a bit, all these farmhouses and stuff. So that would be great for that also.
At the moment, we've got the air conditioning on in
Right,
the car.
yeah.
We can shut the systems down to a much better level, if you like. Pressing eco mode
Right,
starts
I
to
see.
power everything down. Still
Yeah.
keeps the car performing.
Yeah.
Just starts to conserve a bit more energy. Starts to
I
use
see.
it a bit more
Yeah.
in an economy way.
Brilliant.
On the steering wheel, we've got these paddles. And you see, we've now got a thing appeared called B. It's got B3
Yes,
next to it.
I see it, yeah.
And then we've got B4. That's braking. And what that means is that you can use some of the regenerative braking. So when you're coming downhill, if you flick that into B5, you'll be using some of that braking power to put more energy,
The energy
back
you've
into
lost.
the energy you've lost back into the fuel cell, and that will give you more power back into the battery, extended range. You'll feel it now. So as we're on the flat, if you was to lift your foot off the accelerator, you'll feel the car
Oh,
braking.
yeah.
And that's now charging the battery up to do
That was a surprise, yeah. It really
it's a
does slow it down.
So that's really good.
Yeah.
If you're going down a steep hill, you can squeeze more power into the battery
Yeah.
just by using gravity alone.
That's really useful, actually. I can see myself begin to play with this as you drive and just start to extract a little more efficiency as you get used to the car and driving, and using it to slow down on the way up to traffic lights as well as necessarily down hills as well.
You strike me as a thoroughly modern man that has a smartphone.
Yes, I do, yes.
You do. Well, this vehicle also comes with its very own app that you can put onto your smartphone. You can
Oh, right, okay.
communicate with
Right.
the car. You can set the timer for when you want the car to charge. So if you wanted to charge in the middle of the night when the electricity tariff is lower, you can set that from your app on your phone.
I see, yeah.
The other thing you can do is when you're at home in the cold, freezing cold mornings and you're thinking, oh, I really want to get into my nice warm car, you can tell the car to warm itself up.
That would be a
So you can have-
treat when I do early mornings.
It'd be great, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
And when you come home late at night and it's a bit dark, you can switch the lights on or
Can
switch
you?
the lights off, all on the app. You can control a lot of the functions of the car, so you can see getting to your front door or getting away from your front door, or even finding the car in the car park.
That's brilliant.
Flash the lights. Other manufacturers charge you for the app, but with this car it's totally free.
Oh, wow, okay.
we've talked about all the advantages, and this is going to save me an awful lot of money day to day. What are the disadvantages? I've got a young daughter, I've got a family, we need some decent boot space.
This car has got no compromises, and that's a surprising thing.
Yeah.
It's a full 5-seater
Yeah.
car with a huge boot. You can put your daughter's bike in the back, put your
Yeah.
golf clubs in, go
Yeah.
shopping. There are literally no
Great.
compromises.
Okay. And I normally wouldn't ever consider buying this car. I would typically be looking to Audi, maybe BMW as my normal preferred buying line. But looking at the quality, the feel, the road noise is really quiet. It just it handles, it's responsive, and I am actually quite surprised by the power that it can produce as well. It would definitely, with that much savings, would be a good contender.
Now you've really had a good test. What do you think of it?
It's a great drive. In terms of the pounds, that's something they can't ignore.
I think it's a much smoother drive. A BM could be a bit of a hard drive. It's really nice, very friendly, very easy and comfortable. And how much would one of these cars retail at?
Well, this is a clever car. You know, it's got a lot of technology.
It's got a
in it.
lot of technology, yes.
Other manufacturers, they charge for that. They charge a premium for having, you know, a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. But the surprising fact is that Mitsubishi have decided to bring this to the market at the same price as diesel.
Wow.
So there is no premium.
No premium at all.
No.
It seems like complete and utter no-brainer, to be honest.
Now, the price of this car is a very, very unbelievable £28,249.
Yeah, that's remarkable. There's no premium.
It's very attractive.
I was expecting a figure an awful lot higher for this car, because it does feel solid, it feels well built. I mean, the steering wheel, everything feels really good, and I wasn't expecting that as a list price.
Mitsubishi Intelligent Motion.